Hello and welcome to Pirate Radio this evening, guys. I'm Greg, and joining me as usual tonight is Commander X and Kalis. Welcome back, Kalis, after being a little bit ill last week. I hope you had a fun week off and maybe tuned in for a bit of last week's podcast. But welcome back. How are you feeling today? A little bit better?
Yeah, man, I'm feeling great today. It's all good.
You ready to dive in for the first bit of gossip from this week?
Oh, I've been itching ever since. I mean, I don't know what it is, but ever since I missed last one.
Oh, shit.
Probably get that checked out.
Yeah, of course, Kalis never really knows what's gone on in the week and then just listens to us now. He's the same sort of thing as everyone else listening. Doesn't really know what we're going to be talking about. Kalis just rocks up and goes, "Oh, we're talking about that. I can rant about that." Yeah,
I'm the same as a listener. I just get the privilege of being able to go off on a rant about the topics and have people hear it.
Indeed. So why don't we just move straight on to the first topic, which is actually a little bit of team news back from Division 1. It's the La Giraffe. Me and Xavi had a conversation about this earlier. We don't know how to pronounce it.
Just Giraffe.
Giraffe. I'm just going to call it Giraffe.
And
we'll just push Giraffe. Fuck the French language, Giraffe, right? So they've actually kicked Commander X's good friend Havoc and have brought in Noon, another one of Commander X's good mates, actually. Do you know the backstory to this, Xavi?
Yeah, basically, apparently there's a massive echo in your mic as well, Greg, in between. Yeah, but apparently Havoc started trialing for tryharders without telling anyone, which didn't go down well with Giraffe. And then
that's not what I heard.
Really? Then I heard he said he wasn't available one Thursday or something, and then just trialed for tryharders. And Giraffe were a bit like, "What the fuck? You just said you're not available, and you're just trialing for someone else." Yeah, that's what I heard.
I actually heard from the horse's mouth that he informed Giraffe that they were all terrible and needed to improve, and so they cut him.
That wouldn't surprise me. That doesn't sound like the sort of thing Havoc would say. But
Yeah,
he's saying in his sort of upbeat voice, like, "Oh, guys, you're so bad. Why can't you just be better?" So it doesn't feel as much like an insult as it normally would.
No, he literally said to me that he was basically just, being Havoc and being a bit like, I'm a bit too good for this, and giving it all that, so they just were like, "Fuck you then, later, bro." And that's what Havoc said, so maybe he was joking with me, I don't know. He's Havoc, I can never judge.
He was telling me he didn't, in every match he didn't get below 30 frags, no matter if they got rolled or anything, so I think it was a little bit below his skill. But then he chose that team, and it's no surprise that he jumped ship.
Oh yeah, he was just pretty. He's really on off. He gets really keen to play and then really not keen to play. And at the moment he's really keen to play, but there was no team, so he just took anyone. I'm sure he probably always had the intention of going as soon as there was a better opportunity. It just sucks for Giraffe that, they took a risk which no one else in the game would have taken, probably for good reason. And then it backfired on them.
Noon's good.
Yeah, I completely agree with the fact that you were saying there. Havoc he just wanted the team to play because he's come back and he's not actually getting a chance to play. So he's like, "Oh, let's go play Giraffe for a week. Oh, there's a Prem spot open. Kind of obvious what I want to do there, but we'll bring that in a bit later. But of course he did. It's a bit below his skill level. He was, the old Prem standard. He used to be in the Button Bashers team, or was it Button Bashers when he was in it? I don't think it was. I think it was TLR. TLR
Yes.
and something else. What were they before?
He was in
Rats?
Imperial for a while before that as well, way back. So he's been Prem. He's been in and out of Prem for a while, but he's a lot of hit and miss. He'll come back for a while, go straight into Prem, then leave for a while, then come back.
But he got cut from whatever that Button Bashers team were called at the time for they had big officials and he just didn't show up. Was it the ETF12 final?
Yeah.
He just chose not to show up.
No, I think it was the Wireplay final. He chose not to turn up, so they kicked him before the ETF12 final.
Two sides of the story. Havoc said he was in. He had to go to hospital for something. Marco called him a liar, and he was like, "Fine, if you're going to lie to me, I'm going to kick you." And Havoc was like, "Well, if you're going to call me a liar, I'm going to leave." So it was a bit, I don't know, angry.
Oh, so they've moved away from having Havoc in the team, whether it's a kick or he left or whatever. I think it was probably kicked, just because the way that Havoc acts, especially when he, exactly. And then and they brought in Noon, so probably a good, still a good player for their team.
It's a good move.
Definitely much more level. That level wouldn't leave the team because of something. He won't pull a havoc or pull what Havoc's done even. Pull a havoc.
Yeah.
I think we should start calling it that from now on. And so probably fit in that team pretty well. I don't know because the rest of them are French, aren't they? So a Spanish player in a French lineup,
They
might be a
have
bit of communication
Santo
difference.
and McCaws, who are both Spanish,
okay.
both played in teams with Noon before.
Oh right, so it's like half French, half Spanish now, that lineup.
More or less. It's still more French, but there are Spanish players in it. They're not the first Spanish players they've recruited.
Oh, I've just been. Daleth is informing us on IRC that it's not McCaws.
Yeah, he's been
or-
moved to backup because McCaws has been too busy for real life. Daleth, I know what I'm talking about. Don't worry.
There we go. Xavi putting his foot forward there. Daleth trying to catch him off guard. No, not to be had. So, where is Havoc going? Do you want to dive in and explain what's happened over at Tryharder, Xavi?
Havoc has been picked up straight away, pretty much within the week, within the day, by Tryharders.
Convenient, hey?
Oh, what a surprise!
Yeah. So they earlier this week. Well, I mean, last podcast we talked about Koichi leaving for real life. Which is fair enough on his part. And literally the day after, possibly even like an hour after our podcast, I heard the rumor that Stannis had left again. Quit TF2 yet again for, I think, family problems again. So I expect him to be back in 3 weeks. But that's what I just, I think me and Cadis had a conversation about it. Like,
Just take a break, man. You don't have to quit. Just take
Yeah.
a break, bro.
No one
People
ever
don't
quits
mind.
TF2.
indeed. So they've lost 2 players. They had to pick up 2 players in a very, very short time frame. Having already played their first official, they didn't want to fold. So first things first, Havoc's back in the scene. You kind of, you can easily approach him and get him to leave a team, or leave that team that he was in because he obviously wanted to play in Prem. So there we go. Havoc in instead of a Stannis. I'd say a Stannis is better. So I don't think that's going to be the best move for them. I think Havoc is a little bit of a wild card and just doesn't really pay any attention and just runs in and does whatever he wants.
I think
So-
when Havoc's in the mood, he plays the game properly. He's just a bit unsteady.
He gets sucked into his own game a lot. There's a lot of scouts like that, but Havoc is up there with the most guilty of them. But I just want to say, for a team that probably had the highest fold odds going at the start of the season, and then they take on Havoc, it worries me, to be honest.
But then having said that, they've not folded after losing 2 players. So while we've said they had the highest fold odds, that's probably where they would have folded.
I don't know.
losing 2 players.
Yeah, I don't know Stannis that well, but he always seemed, maybe because language barrier, or maybe just because of how he is, he was always quite reserved, or at least had a laugh, but he was very chilled. But how with Havoc, you kind of put in like a very eccentric personality in with a team of already quite eccentric personalities.
Yeah.
I think there's gonna, not just like they have unreliable players now that might quit, but now they could have a lot of team clashes.
Oh, for sure. Like Havoc and Taimu, I could see that just clashing.
Yeah, man. Can you
They
imagine
seem-
it?
They seem like the sort of people like Tryhard seem the sort of team that they could rage and argue all the time on Mumble, but be fine with rage and arguing all the time on Mumble. Like when some teams it really gets to them. Like they're the sort of team that could just rage at each other and it'd be fine. Like
Yeah, like
people
the
like
next day they'd
Mineral.
turn up and wouldn't give a shit what's going on.
yeah, and then just do it again and it'd just be fine. Like it's other sort of players who can be like, guys, we just sort out our Mumble atmosphere. We're like, fuck off, our Mumble atmosphere's fine, keep going.
So that's pretty much the Havoc deal. They have brought in a new soldier, which we talked about last week before they'd even trialed him. We talked about Trax
Called it.
being so we called it last week. Some Div 5 soldier that seems to have half decent aim. Like
All I've
someone
heard for like
said-
3 days is Trax. It's just like, who the fuck is Trax, bro? I have no idea.
Div 5 to Div 2 to Prem within about a week or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
indeed.
yeah?
So that's official now. I think I'm not 100% on whether it is. Has he joined the ETF2L roster?
He is on the
Mineral.
ETF12 roster.
Yeah, Mineral. Is that an official? There you go. Mineral confirming that Trax is definitely in. So there's their new lineup, a new soldier. I think they probably should have gone elsewhere, but I think they rushed it so hard and they didn't even think about who else they could have picked up. And like majority of them won't know any of these Div 1, Div 2 players. They're going, oh shit, there's no one else available. What can we do? Oh, let's just try this player. Oh, he seems half decent. Let's go for him. Like they're not people that are going to waste their time trying to think, okay, who in Div 1 might we be able to go for, or who's like not teamed at the moment we might be able to go for, and like so instead they picked up this Div 5 player, which bringing in someone new to the Prem is awesome, but we'll have to wait and see how he reacts. Like what were you saying about it, Commander X? Like
I think he's exactly the sort of player Taimu wants as Soldier.
Yeah.
He's someone who can hit shots, good DM, and he'll just do exactly what Taimu says when he says. Like, from when Taimu was an exotic, the biggest thing that made him rage is when Spari and Natural tried to play their own game, and Taimu just wanted them to do everything exactly as he said. Like, Taimu calls everything when he's, like, in the zone, as it were. He'll call, like, who should off-class, when they should off-class, what side we should push, everything. And he likes having that total control.
But then that means it gives him an extra player that he has to micromanage so much more. Like, positioning-wise, he's never going to be in the exact right place, not for a while anyway. So it means that he's going to be out of position, whether it's by 5 steps, by 10 steps. That is huge in Prem. That's the small mistake that costs people rounds. So we'll have to wait and see how they deal with it. Like, obviously, they're still relying on Longas and Erectus to go and frag, but, if you're supportive Soldier, I think he's going to be playing pocket, surely. Mineral, can you guarantee, is he playing? They don't even play, they have a Erectus pocket, don't they? They have 2 roaming soldiers, so... I don't know. I don't see it being that great. He's more pocket. There you go from Mineral. He's more pocket. So I don't think he'll be there. The perfect, supportive player to Erexus to Longas going into Mineral jumping. Like fair enough, they can say go and jump, but he's not going to know what he wants to do with the jump. Like so, yeah. Like well, that's what I think about it. And Mineral's just saying that Taimu can nutsy him around, which is what Taimu likes doing. So I have to wait and see how it pays off.
I agree with you, to be honest. It's when you get to the lower regions of Prem, I think just by being bossed around he'll do okay, and he'll get the frags, he'll do the work. But I think when he get toward the top, the Epsilon infused to crack clans, I think the 3 seconds it's going to take Taimu to spell everything out for him. Those 3 seconds are going to cost them a lot more than they will probably expect. Like, because the 3 seconds, like, tracks do this, then do this, then do this. Like, your gears and your Noxes, they're going to have done them without having to be told, so that's like 3 seconds have done them quicker than tracks will be able to do them. At least for a good while.
Agree. But maybe they'll be able to develop him into the soldier that they need, to better, soldier better than Koichi was, like.
Yeah, that's not hard though.
Yeah, so.
No,
so
I think
maybe
it's
it'll be a good move 6 weeks down the line at the end of the season if they manage to keep themselves in Prem, it'll be good. But if they end up going into the drop zone, the relegation zone, I don't think it'll be a good move.
It's definitely not a bad move, I don't think, but it's a move that's not going to probably come with immediate results. Just because the next few games might suffer, I wouldn't say it's a bad move, but it's, you can't say, but I expect it to take a while if it's going to work for them.
And also, having said that, like if they picked up a Div 1, Div 2 soldier, they would probably be in the same situation. So picking up a Div 5 is not going to make a difference. So, whoever they had to pick up would have been...
How do you think they're feeling now with the other news of this week? Having just taken tracks and then, what is it? Three Prem proven soldiers become available at the same time. Granted, I don't think Leon would have joined them in a fucking million years. But the other two, I don't know that well. Maybe.
Well, we haven't done that news yet, so should we just move on now? Should we stop talking about tryharders?
Yeah,
let's move on to the biggest news of the week. Easily the biggest news of the week. So we played Broder on Thursday night, yeah. And about half an hour after our game, I get a PM from Torden going, "You've just folded my team." Obviously, he's joking because that's not the reason they have gone into this phase. But he was trolling me, and that's not the reason. Prozac wants to quit TF2, which is fair enough. So he's quitting. So
that's not fair enough. That's retarded.
Whoa, well, yeah.
A week and a half into a season, man. That's just arsehole. There's nothing but arsehole in that.
True, and especially when Famba left at the end of last season, he could have just left at the same time. So yeah, I do agree with that.
There's two things that happened. Either he knew he wanted to quit in advance and started the season anyway without saying shit, or he decided one day he wants to quit and just quit without even considering it. And I think both are pretty stupid, to be honest.
I think cynically it has a bit to do with Torden leaving. I'm not sure how aware Broder were of Torden not being available, but I think him leaving coinciding with other players leaving isn't just a coincidence.
Yeah,
probably not.
Well, that leaves them with 5 players and a scout down. their most experienced scout. You know, you've got Dukes in for 2 weeks, is it? He's joined for. So like,
Yeah.
it's so hard now for them to go and pick up a scout. Like, where can they go to pick up a scout? They need someone with some experience. They can't just go and pick up yet another promising Div 1 player because that means they have nobody to work with. Like, nobody that player can work with and develop the way Dukes probably would have done with Prozac. Like, and like so, I don't know what they were going to be able to do with that. But of course, like the major thing that we've been talking about is the fact that Zebasai, who's now playing medic, can pretty much play scout, soldier, or medic. So they can go and pick up somebody else to fill the boots of Prozac or fill the boots of another slot and have one of their current players go in and go scout. Like Zeba could go back scout, Leon could go scout, Jukebox could go scout, and that way they like free up a slot. So it makes it a lot easier for them to try and recruit somebody. So I don't know. Do you guys want to like throw around some names about who you reckon they might go and pick up?
Well, if they were to keep it like Scandi, I think the best thing they could do is put Jukebox on Scout, put Zebasai on Soldier, and find a different medic. Because there's no fucking soldiers anywhere to be seen. Medics I'm not so sure about, but they tend to lurk. You don't notice the good medics in the lower divs, so there'll at least be some potential. I mean, Jukebox was playing Scout in a mix the other night, and granted it was only a mix, but he was hitting everything, man. He was like, you know, I quote myself. I was like, whack up, wow, look at this guy keening main class in a double mix. And then it occurred to me that he's not even a fucking Scout. It's like he literally can play Scout.
Did you just quote Waka Wow?
Huh? I don't even
That's
know
what you
that
said
is.
when you quoted
That's
yourself.
what you just
like,
said. Like,
I'm gonna quote myself because I was like, Waka Wow. It's
No,
like-
man, I was going to say, wow, man, my voice wobbled. I got nervous.
Don't worry, it's a big stage. This podcast. It's a big stage.
Oh.
yeah, and
But
then,
yeah, he literally can do it. And medics, you never know because you don't know it's good medics. There's probably someone
It's
out there.
easier to upgrade a medic, just like from lower divisions, just up, like educate him quickly, rather than like other classes where there's DM, there's other things like. I find with medic, especially if you've got like maybe a pocket like Zebo, who does. I'm pretty sure Zebo does like a lot of the main calling now. Torden's left anyway.
he was
So-
called last season anyway. So when
Wasn't it? Yeah,
when Jordan
exactly.
was
So-
getting paid, he was making Zebo cool. So
Seems like quite easy. It's like Zebo would maybe have to add in that sort of micromanagement of medic, but it's better than folding.
Yeah, I think it's a big shame they didn't see particularly eye to eye with Larsa because I think Jukebox to Scout, Larsa to Soldier would have been theoretically the best thing, but I heard they don't really. Larsa wasn't the right man for them, basically. But in any other team, Larsa could very well have been the right man, so I think that's a shame.
yeah,
Well,
that's a very very good point.
I think
Like,
throwing one player into a Prem team isn't a problem. Like you look when like Dignitas did it with Larsa, and Larsa just got used to it pretty quickly. It's like
Yeah.
one player in a team full of like Div 1 Prem players isn't a problem. I think it's a rash fold if they are going to fold.
Yeah, and then of course they don't have to be all Scandi. All these players have played in an English speaking team. It's not like they've always played in the Scandi team. They expect to speak Swedish the whole time. It's
But then they wouldn't be brothers, man. They'd be like distant cousins or something.
well, can't you play the rest of the season playing with just pick someone up for the rest of the season, play with an English speaking, and then come back end of the season and then sort everything out? Would that
Well, they
would that
could
not
do-
sort of like?
Like they could have done. They just think they don't really want to. Like Zebasai just said, we have folded because he's an asshole. An asshole,
up,
as Zebasai.
Go European. Leon's been in a European team for like his whole career. Zebo's been in a European team. Jukebox has. They all have. It's not an issue. And even if it was the language barrier, teams like Crackland, when they had Estanis and Harry Hook, who both have like kind of weak English, it doesn't matter.
They
Like,
just
can
talk
still-
fucking Spanish to each other.
Yeah,
and, like,
it's like
whoever had
they
the
can
best
get
English
away
would
with
relay
it.
it. Like I can't remember who it was. Like one of them would relay the other's comms.
Yeah.
Fucking rest of the team.
Harry would always say everything, and Pesca and Estanis didn't say very much at all, which is like,
It's-
they have other opportunities for some of these these Finnish players that all these teams that have gone under the waterworks recently and died or folded or just like stopped playing for a couple of months. Like they could pick up Zappis, Hawks, loads of players they like names throwing around, but it just doesn't seem they want to do that. Whether that's because they've already picked up new players, they've lost Tord and they lose motivation because they don't have that main caller they're so used to and stuff like that. they're just losing the touch of the team and don't really want to keep going with it. But it's such a shame if they don't keep going with it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like at the end of the day, it's their decision. So like whatever they do is what they do. Like they lost a key player, so if they want to fold, like you can't. I don't really, you don't judge them for that. But I think as far as teams that fold go, this would be one of the softer ones. Like I know they've had problems, but they've filled the problems very well. Like they've had a lot of roster changes, but they filled them so nicely. And one more, I think they could do it, but they just don't really want to.
Get the impression they could have tried a bit harder. Like I know they've obviously tried already filling in the blanks of Torden and Famba, but you just feel like if you filled in Torden and Famba, why is filling in a third so much more of a leap? Like in Exotic, we've changed the roster quite a bit from when we opened up. Like we've changed, I don't know how many players are still in there from the original lineup. Maybe like half the team's still from the original lineup. Like we change like a couple of players almost every couple of months. It's like it's workable.
yeah, definitely. And also, what are these players that want to keep playing? Okay, so let's say they fold. They've got 5 players there that want to keep playing TF2. They're going to miss a whole season's worth of TF2. One of them, 2 of them possibly, will join a team. So let's say one of the soldiers goes to try hard or something instead of tracks, and then someone else joins a Div 1 team. And then the rest of them kind of need to go, oh, well, I've got 6 weeks left of the season. I'm not doing anything. Oh, I really regret not trying to just pick someone up just to play the season now or something like that. Like how many of these players have actually played in Prem before? Leon, is that it?
Yeah.
I think that's it from their team.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
surely they want to go and get the Prem experience, get this experience in the division, and then come back at the end of the season and do it.
Was Dues not involved in that team with the Finnish medic that played Depth
Peace and
team
Love.
that played a season of Prem
Animus.
and didn't win a game?
I don't know.
I didn't think that team ever went Prem. I thought they were Div 1.
Well, I just think they've made the decision really, really, really quickly. They, when Thursday, it's Sunday now, and I don't know if it's confirmed. I think Zebo put that recruitment
Zebo
post
is
out to see what could happen. So I think they're probably still working with it. From what I talked to when I spoke to Leon, I think they're still talking about options and stuff like that. But don't forget they're going to have to play a game this week, so they've not got the quickest, they've not got the longest amount of time to sort it out. And if they want to delay one, that means they have to play 2 sometime later in the season. They need to try and work out what they want to do together pretty quickly. So did anyone see them PCW today or anything?
Zebo's just writing in chat as confirmed we have folded.
There you go.
Yeah, he said that like 3 times. I relayed that already
I know.
as well.
Really?
Greg's just like in his own world, man.
Yeah, not even paying attention.
Can you get a fucking hint, Zebo? We're not accepting it.
Yeah.
Another little thing to take into account is I was speaking with Zebo say the other day, and he said for him it stopped being Broder when Fanva left.
Oh.
Oh, really?
So I think that's more of an atmospheric thing than anything else. But I think look at like the problems probably started at like a deeper level longer ago, not just to do with performances, but to general feel of the team. Because I mean, you can get through like a bad run, like if if Broder were to change the roster now, they would have bad results, but like it would be like a temporary thing. But if there's like deeper problems with just the general atmosphere and the fun you're having, like playing with the players themselves, then I guess it's a bigger problem.
Yeah, indeed. Well, there we have it. Like Zebo said, we giving the Prem spot to someone else. Does that mean that someone else is going to join the Prem?
Yeah.
Is Crosp listening? I don't think he is.
Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
No.
Would you give the Prem spot to somebody else, Crosp? If I say if when Broder folded, they're leaving Prem. Would you just no? Is that no? Is it no? You're not listening? Oh yeah, I suppose it is because that's what you said. Yeah, I'm not really paying attention. Yeah, shout Govins.
I'll start a new super team. It's fine. We'll hijack the Broder roster. PM me if you're interested. Yeah.
So yeah, it would be good to see that. Well, while Crosp is seeing whether that would happen, I guess they probably have to talk about it in the admin channel. It's not something they're probably not even talked about it yet. Let's move on to there's one more bit of like seeing gossip that's gone on this week that we didn't actually have written down that I got PM'd by Anti, of course, earlier just as we went live, and that is Ralliator back to TF2. So big news, back in England means like Carnage can actually start playing again. So
They played tonight and won, from what I saw.
well, I've just been
Who did they
PM'd by
pick?
someone, and they're saying that Deserto raped Carnage today. Was what a PM that I've
Whoa.
just
No, I
received.
thought Carnage only played a 21 today versus Exotic.
I don't know.
You're
Andy's
getting
just
fed. You're
messaged me a
getting fed
question mark.
lies
Yeah,
by
I'm
Steve.
blatant
You're
lie.
getting trolled. You're getting trolled.
So yeah, so it's yeah, good that Carnage can actually start playing their games now. Um, and apparently they did rape Exotic in the PCW they had earlier.
From
So
what I saw, it wasn't looking good when I joined them. They were 5-1 up, and Anti had like 3 or 4 DOMs.
I'm hearing from a reliable source that Deserto took a map from them.
okay, well there you go. Well, is Radiator all he's cracked up to be? That's a pretty big question. We'll have to wait and see what happens this week. I'm pretty sure we have our game against him this week.
What is Rally to cracked up to be? I never, like, because he was only ever in Mouse Tech before, right? Like, of any notable teams. Like, I mean, I don't want to sound arrogant, but, like, I didn't really take that team seriously at the time. I mean, they were an upset team, really. Like, they had Quad, and obviously whenever you played them, Quad was the point of interest. So I never really noticed the other players until the likes of Flisco found their way out of it. And obviously Anti, who I knew before. But, what does he bring to the table?
I don't know.
They say
I
he's
just
good. From what I've heard, he's good aim, good game sense, good all-round soldier. But then that's from Quad, who seems to get very wet at the
Yeah.
mention of Radiator's name.
the only person that like spreads Radiator around as being a good soldier is Quad, and like that's all I've heard from him. Like Anti said to me,
all of Mouse Tech seem to rate him.
Yeah.
But then I suppose you always rate your friends higher than you would.
For a long while, I
A
rated
randomer.
Minimal because I played in Anonymous Gamers, and look how that turned out.
There we go. And Anti's just PM me saying he's fucking good and he's South African, so that's why they rate him. There you go. From
Clar
the
wants
horse's
me to
mouth.
point out that we had a Merc tonight, and that's why we lost. That's what
They
Clar
said the same
says.
thing about Swifty, just for the record.
It
when that
Swifty
went.
was good. Yeah.
Fucking good in South Africa, and I heard the same thing, man. How did that turn out?
Oh dear. So Swifty actually listened this week because last week he got a bit annoyed, didn't he? Because he didn't actually win that beta key, and then eventually we
He'll
decided to
listen
give
on
it
the
to him.
replay.
Yeah. So, well, why don't we just move on from the team gossip? I don't know if Crasp actually said anything about. No, he didn't say anything there.
No. Oh well.
Oh wait, here we go. If there's definitely a drop and there's a decent team on the waiting list, maybe. That's what he said. So possibly.
Unlucky Deserto.
So basically, if several criteria are met, then there's a chance. So that's not something we already knew. Thanks, bro.
Yeah. Obviously, just wants to talk about it with the rest of the admin team before he says anything about it. So I
Isn't
guess
there policy
it would
like
be
3
Deserto
weeks,
if
or
it-
was it that change with when it became 8-team divisions?
I don't know actually. I don't know what the policy of it on it is at all. So
I think there was a policy like of a certain amount of game weeks, but I don't think it's been updated since they changed the season format.
So would you like to see Deserto in Prem? Yeah.
No, it'd have to be QN, man.
QN.
I'm
I'm not
sorry.
just saying that because I'm getting trolled on chat right now either. It would have to be QN.
Would you not say the fact that? I should take that back. Actually, the only team that's won their game this week was LMS from Div 1. I was going to say I thought it was Deserto, but Deserto drew a game and Quarantine drew both their games. So
I
either of
completely
them
forgot
really-
about Equilibrium. The Equilibrium aren't bad either. I'm not sure. I'd
It's
predict
too even to call.
Equilibrium Quarantine, I think, are the standouts. Deserto are not that far behind, but I think they are behind.
yeah, that's fair enough. I probably agree with that. I mean, the thing with Equilibrium is that they just they're pretty rubbish in PCWs, and then they just turn up on the game day and they have like Haunter and Coins turn up, and they're like, oh, okay, we'll go and win now then, shall we? Like,
I don't think Haunter turns up anymore, to be fair.
Oh,
I
does he
think
not?
Coins plays when he can. And when he can is always coincided with their official dates, unsurprisingly.
Funnily
As
enough,
you
they-
would
when he's
if-
available.
Yeah. As you would if you had Coins on your backup. Oh, Coins, you can play today. I think you should start today. By the way, we have an official.
Oh, and I have a shout out while we're here. It's actually the Carnage Medic Anti birthday today. So happy birthday to Anti. So big shout out to him. Yay! And on that note, let's
Happy
move on to the week's scores and stuff. Do you want to go through it, Zavi?
Where should we start?
Where should we start? Why don't we start with last week's results and then go on from there?
Last week's result.
Talk
Let
about
me
talk
get
about the games possibly.
Hold on.
Wow, you really like.
Well, I wasn't expecting this. I clearly wrote down what I was doing in the notepad, and you clearly ignored the notepad.
Rubbish!
It's sat right there on the notepad in the next
not.
topic, Zabby.
That's
Yes, it is.
Fixtures. I swear you just asked for results. I shouldn't have drunk this beer so quickly.
Topics, okay. Like, just for the people that aren't understanding what we're looking at,
right.
it says gossip, and then it says topics. So after all the team gossips, we go to topics, and the first bit in topics is ETF2 our results, and then it's got the scores right there, which teams played in it. So Zabby, you shut the fuck up, yeah, and read that out.
Okay, I'm ready. Come back to me with it. Yeah. Right. Okay. Results this week, guys. Infuse beat Broda 5-0 and 4-1, and Exotic beat Yo-Yo Tech, kind of. Water and 3-4 Golden Cap win to Yo-Yo Tech on Badlands. So
The legit map.
4-2 points out of that.
Do you guys want to? If you guys discuss the Infused one, so I'd have to say something about it, and then me and Zabby will discuss the Yo-Yo Tech one. So okay, listen, we have to say.
We
anything.
were robbed.
So you were
What?
robbed. We'll talk about the Infused one first. Go on then, guys. Pretty much just
Who did Infuse
straightforward.
today? Oh yeah, you folded
Broda.
Broda, didn't you?
Well done.
I don't even remember it. I just remember thinking, for fuck's sake, Broda, come on. The whole game.
You know what I remember from that match? I remember thinking Mike's the worst spy in the world. And that's what I remember. Like every time he went spy, it was just an awful attempt at going spy.
So you saying that I'm the best spy in Infused?
By default,
Really?
winning the Paralympics.
Oh man. This is the internet. You should be careful what you say.
Oh god. Right. So yeah, we just rode Badlands. I think it took 15, 20 minutes or something, and then Snakewater was a lot closer. Well, I say a lot closer. It was just like we were just playing like retards, pretty much. Ended up winning 4-1. Like that's pretty much all I can say about that game. I think Leon managed to kill himself. Really, we all laughed pretty much when that happened. So if you go and watch the VOD, you'll see it as well. It was pretty funny. That's pretty much all that she wrote for that map.
Sorry,
that
boys. I
game.
lagged out. I'm back.
Right, fair enough.
Phew.
Well, let's move on to the other game then. Let's move on to the other game.
Okay.
What was it again? It was, of course, Yo-Yo Tech versus Exotic. So we got a manager and we got a player for either team here. So big words coming out. Cadus, what happened? What went wrong, man?
Well, first off, yeah, there was 2 DDoSes, and the game took about 2.5 hours to be played. So by the end, it was literally below PCW level, like far below PCW level. We were outplayed below PCW level, but
It's like losing a minute.
it's like who can really think much into it. And contributing to that, I had I have a load of internet problems, and that particular night they were pretty awful. Like I was spiking between like 60 to 150 ping for like the duration of the match. Apart from some bits of Badlands were okay. So that obviously contributed somewhat, but at the end of the day, the DDoSes were the main talking point. They just completely fucked the entire like focus of the match over.
Yeah, it really sucks that you guys are getting DDoSed, and then like come the Thursday night, like nothing happened to us at all. So touch wood, it doesn't happen again. But like I was really careful with our Source TV and stuff when we set it up because I just set it all up myself. So whether there's someone's taken the Source TV and pasted it somewhere so people got their hands on it, I don't know, but
Just throwing it out there, but like half the players were online on Friends when the game before it went live. I don't think not Infused players, but there was a Broder player or 2 I saw.
Oh well, all of us went offline because we knew about it. We just went offline first. So
It just seems such like, no offense to either team, obviously, but such an unspectacular game to DDoS.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like if you were going to try and make whatever statement you're trying to make, you'd pick something like Infuse versus, or like Epsilon versus Crackland. That's this week. You'd pick something like
Yeah.
that rather than.
well, of
Savvy,
course
you seem to have a lot of
that was going to be
lot of
played
insight.
last week. So like maybe the teams decided to delay it because of what happened on Monday. I don't know, but that's being delayed till next week. But yeah, it was a close game, and like the Golden Cap and stuff on Badlands, it was good. And I managed to get in for the end of Snakewater as well, even with the Source TV being a bit messed up. And it just took forever. The game, it was still good. Like it's just a shame that like I think I was watching Snakewater, and Cadus' ping was so bad that it was just like he just had to double W in on middle points and stuff, and like really had no idea what he was doing. So it looked like they were kind of playing with five, but then it's good work on Exotic capitalizing and everything, going and taking the map. Like it was really good job from them, and they just exploited it and exploited your scouts, exploited you, and just like as soon as Cadus is down, the team's kind of dissolves. But yeah, congratulations to Exotic taking that, getting 4 points out of it. Of course, Yotek did get two, so it's still a good game. And
I don't think it was a good game. I would like everyone in the Exotic team told me not to watch it because it was so bad. I think Sam called it the worst game of TF2 he's ever played. I think it was just it was just an unfortunate start to the season.
Yeah.
Hopefully it can't get worse.
Yeah, indeed. It can only go up, surely. Surely.
Well, we win next week as Broda folded, so not bottom.
Yeah, well, they don't actually give you points, do they, for a folded team? It just doesn't count.
But we won't be bottom on the tables. If someone looks back at this in 5 years' time, for whatever reason, we'll be...
Oh, yeah, you won't be bottom unless someone replaces Broda. Unless someone
Which
replaces
case
Broda, then...
Well...
So, do you want to go into the rest of the games that are upcoming this week? I think there's one week one game outstanding, is there?
And yes, it's that. I can't remember which one it is. It's Crackland versus Carnage. Was that week one?
That's the week one.
That's week one. That's happening on this Wednesday. And Crackland are also playing either tomorrow or the day after against Epsilon, which is the first sort of clash of the big three, which will really give us sort of some perspective of how close Crackland are or how far Epsilon are ahead of everyone.
Yeah, indeed. And we talked about this last week, actually, didn't we? Like, we really went in depth into this game, and when Ads was here, and I think me and Zavi just said like we'd like CCs to go and win, obviously, but if we think about it properly, Epsilon should just go and win, take both maps. So have to wait and see. Obviously, it's Badlands Snakewater, so Badlands is one of CC's
Gullywash Snakewater. Am I right?
Gullywash Snake. Oh, it's second week, isn't it? Yeah, Gullywash.
Yeah, second week because
one of CC's best maps. So.
Week one games being played later, just to confuse you. Yeah.
So
I believe in CC. I believe in Red Shock and Matnan, and the rest of them, but mainly Red Shock and Matt.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Cadus, do you want to give us your input on that game, or are you not even here anymore?
Which game? Sorry.
Crackland
No, I mean, sorry. Which game are they playing? Is it which maps? Like
they are playing
Gully?
Gullywash and Snakewater.
Snake and Gully. I think Epsilon to take Gully quite convincingly. Snakewater, I don't feel qualified to comment on, as I've actually not seen either team play it in a long time. But I think Epsilon would certainly take Gullywash. But from what I can tell, it's not one of Crackland's strong maps, so I don't think that will tell you a lot about how Snakewater will play out just on that.
I think.
Well, before we go into this, should we start doing the me, Zavi, and Cadus had a little talk about having a prediction competition throughout the season to see who gets the best predictions throughout the season. Should we start doing that now? Should we put our official predictions in? So, Cadus, do you want to go give your official predictions?
Well, for all the games, or
just actually.
How should we do
why don't we do it at the end? Well, we'll go through them all now. We'll talk about them all now, and we'll do everything at the end. That's a good plan. Zavi, do you want to talk about this game again?
I think Snakewater will be Epsilon's because I think a linear map really is sort of anti-favours Crackland style, because Crackland play very much a pocket and demo with a medic and then a flank, making up a Peskin over Harry, Hook and Bash. And I think that linear map just sort of limits their options for flanking, really. Whereas in like Gullywash,
are you saying
Snakewater's it's linear, yeah, because like
it's really easy to do the flanking in Snakewater.
I don't feel it's as I feel it would be Epsilon. Epsilon seems strong on Snakewater from what I've seen, and I can see Crackland just getting isolated, like their combo getting isolated and their scouts getting isolated. Whereas I feel if Gullywash, they can sort of sandwich Epsilon a bit more.
Okay. Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that, and like I think Crackdown will take Gullywash possibly. Like that's the map they were more likely to win. So I don't think they can possibly take Snakewater away from Epsilon. Although having said that, Epsilon, we played them earlier in the week and they weren't that strong on it. Like compared to what you usually think they are, like they just weren't anywhere near as strong as that. But I still think it's just the way that we played against them that day. Like we played so well and just like stopped our stupid overextendings after we win a fight. You know, if you play against Epsilon, you'll win a fight, and people will just overextend and die. And if you don't do that against Epsilon, you're gonna, so you're so much, gonna be so much better against them. And I think Crackclan will keep, that overextending style. They're like that sort of team that's just like really, really aggressive anyway. So I don't think they'll be able to win Snakewater. I think possibly a draw. I'd say, but like if I'm going to do predictions, I can't go away from giving Epsilon 2 maps. But let's move on to the next game. We'll do all our predictions at the end. So what's going on for the next ones, Abby?
What we're talking little week 2 games now.
Should we talk about the Crackclan
Carnage, since that's actually scheduled. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I suppose Carnage have their complete roster now. You know, tonight was like the first night they played with Radiator, I think, but they look stronger tonight, definitely, than they have done in previous weeks. But I feel like Cracklan's too much of a jump. Like, I feel if they were playing someone like from the bottom 5 of Prem, they would stand a bit more of a chance. But against Cracklan have been playing together for like a while now. I just think it's like too big too soon.
Nah, it's going to be close, man.
I
think it's going to be really close. I think Carnage, at the moment, to me, look like they have their eyes set on the 4th playoff spot, and I think they're going to take that above like whoever takes Broider's place, above Exotic, above Yo-Yo Tech, above Tryharders, based on how it's going at the moment. And to be honest, I think the gap between the top 3 and the rest isn't as big as people make it out to be. There are skill gaps, but I think they're more like some small skill gaps between kind of each rank, if you know what I mean. I think there's a gap between Epsilon and Infused. I think there's a gap between Infused and Crackclan. But I don't think those gaps are very big. Like the same with a gap between Crackclan and Carnage. I don't think that gap's really that big. There's definitely those gaps, but yeah. I think
I said it last week. Like out of all the bottom 5, we thought Carnage would be the ones, if any, to make that leap into the sort of top 3.
Yeah.
I've like looking to the maps and stuff. I don't think they can do it because of the maps. I don't think that they brought Radiator back, fair enough, but he's not going to have much time on Snakewater, really. So I don't think they're gonna have any chance on Snakewater against Crackclan. And then Badlands, Crackclan, it's one of their strongest maps. So I don't think Carnage can do it unless Quad and Thigh go huge, absolutely huge. That's what they need to do, and they need to keep Red Shock out of the game. And if they don't do those 3 things, they're going to lose. And that's just my 2 cents on the game, really.
I don't think
they'll win, but I think it's going to be close.
Okay.
I think, if anything, Red Shock's sort of the exploitable thing, because Roy's focuses a lot of the heals on Matnan, which often means Red Shock doesn't get as much heals as a normal demo man would. A sort of like when Extremer played or something, or like a Numlock who gets all the heals. He doesn't get that sort of level of heal. So if you can isolate one person to pick, he is the guy who will be not always buffed.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So, yeah, to be honest, it'll probably be one of the good games of the week, and it'll definitely be good to see what the gap is there, especially with Carnage, because we haven't really. I think the last time we played them was in that cup. Yeah, it must have been when we were in that cup when we played them in the quarterfinals or something, whatever it was. The Invite Cup a couple of weeks ago. Other than that, I don't really know much about them and how they're playing, and obviously, I just still think that it's down to Quad and Thigh how well they play, and that's just it will always be like that. I think for a long time to come anyway until they get used to everything. So, what are the other games then? Should we go through the rest of the week 2 fixtures, Abby?
So for week 2, yeah. For week 2, right, we've already done Cracklan versus Epsilon, which will be soon. So it's going to be Carnage versus Infused, which.
I think we're hoping to play on Thursday, but I doubt they can. So I doubt we'll play that this week.
And there's Broder versus Exotic, which is going to end in a default to Exotic, sort of non-event. And then Yo-Yo Tech versus Tryharders, which I believe is unscheduled as of yet.
Do you know
It's
anything about the
looking
schedule?
It will be a week today, probably.
Okay. So the Sunday evening game, we'll see, hopefully, Yo-Yo Tech versus Tryharders. That'll be a good game, to be honest. It'd be really good to see how Tryharders play with their new players and see what Yo-Yo Tech can do when they're not getting DDoS, when they're not lagging and stuff like that, and just actually get into a proper mindset. Like last game, we didn't really actually get a chance to see what how they all tick and stuff like that when they're actually playing in an official environment rather than just these PCWs. So that'd be really good to see that. Obviously, us versus Carnage, like if people it totally depends really on how they play against Crackland. Like if you think it's going to be close, then, but I don't think it's going to be close enough. Like,
Well, I presume you feel confident that you'd beat
oh yeah,
Carnage.
easily.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, yeah.
Okay, and that's this week is the week we're talking about at the moment. Actually, is Snakewater and Gullywash as well, guys. Just so you know. So, yeah. So I with those maps as well, I feel really confident. So, obviously depends how well Carnage play and what goes on behind closed doors in their team. Obviously, Broder folded means Exotic won't play. Should we hypothetically do it if Exotic versus Deserto, Exotic versus Quarantine, Exotic versus Equilibrium?
I'd say
I
that
think-
so, apart from Deserto being slightly below them, I think the rest it could be a close game. Probably the
Okay.
closest game of the week.
Yeah, I'd probably. No, having said that, in this week we have Crackland versus Epsilon. So
Oh well, I'm considering it. Is that week 2?
yeah, it's a week 2 game.
Was that not scheduled like for last week, but then got cancelled?
Yeah, it was scheduled for last year.
Matnan's internet like went to shit, so they cancelled it and rescheduled for this week.
That's confusing.
And from what I've seen, Matnan has got his internet back and is back on form, hitting everything. So
Yeah, he was playing today.
All right, well that's all the predictions. So why don't we just do week 2? All right. I'll make a document quickly so we can record everything. Hang on 2 seconds. Zabby, do you want to go first for the predictions then?
for week 2, well, Infused to beat Carnage, Exotic to base Broder on the basis that Broder don't exist anymore. So we have to win that. Epsilon versus Crackdown, I'm going for a draw, as in like one map each.
Yeah.
Yayotech versus Tryharders, I'm going Yayotech. Internet depending.
Okay, so while we're talking about this, I feel that we should always do it by the ETF2L points. So if one team wins a map by Golden Cap and then loses the next map, it's still the team that won the
Got the
second
most
map
points.
is the team that so by the ETF2L points. So you're going Infused, Exotic, draw with Crackdown Epsilon, and Yo-Yo Tech. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first next, Kader, or go next, Kader?
Yeah, week 2. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, week 2.
Yeah. So Infused to beat Carnage. Exotic to lose to a folded team. I'm gonna say. Can I say like Crackland Epsilon 4-2 to Epsilon?
You want to go with the direct score? Yeah, of course you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, like 4-2 to Epsilon. And Yo-Yo Tech Tryharders. 4-2 to Yo-Yo Tech. I'll be kind.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm gonna go 2-0 win to Infused. Exotic, obviously, like they're just playing a folded team. I'm gonna go 6-0 to Epsilon, and I'm gonna go draw Yo-Yo Tech Tryharders.
Can I change mine? I meant
Oh.
to say Yo-Yo Tech Tryharders 5-1 Yo-Yo Tech.
5-1 Yo-Yo Tech. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me just write down what I've gone for as well. 2 seconds. Do you remember what I went for? 6-0.
Nah.
Right. Okay. So Zabby, do you want to give any scores for your one? Well, me and Kader
Scores.
said a few scores.
Are we
as well.
doing like points?
By ETF2L points?
ETF 12 points. So Infused Carnage will be 6-0. The Exotic Broder, obviously 6-0 Exotic, because no one. Crackdown versus Epsilon. I'm going to go 3-all, but it will go 2-1 both ways, if that makes sense. So
Ooh,
Golden
both
Cap.
Golden Caps.
both, yes. I'm predicting an event.
Okay.
And
So
Yayotech versus Tryharders. I'm going to go 5-1 Yayotech. Sounds sensible.
okay. So we do definitely have some different results. So that's looking good. So hopefully next week we'll be able to come back and go, Zavi's awful, Cadis is awful, and I got everything right. That's what we're looking for, isn't it? So perfect. Should be
Don't
a
let
bit
me
of
down,
fun anyway.
Shock.
Right, is that everything? Actually, I think there's one more little bit of news that one of the one of the admins over at Wireplay has asked us to just let people know that they're looking for replacement teams for Div 3 and 4 in Wireplay this season. So if you're in a team that's that sort of level, you want to go play, do it. If you're in a team that's not that sort of level, you have a couple of days off a week, just make a team and go and do it. I think me and Zavi might be looking to just make a little fun team and just go into and play some off class and just stuff because we don't play Sunday and Monday, so we might as well play those couple of
I don't
days.
play any day, so.
Yeah, exactly. So if people, if a couple of people want to join us, just let us know. Or just go and make your own. Just join it. Just go play it. It's like not hard to play 2 officials a week, guys. Like I think it's impossible for TF2 teams to do it. But like when you play, if you think about other games like SC2,
TF2 makes such a meal of.
Dota 2, they all play officials every night, and we just play an official once a week. Like
and struggle. Like the game, me and Greg casted a game earlier. Now, we didn't realise we're starting at 20 CET. We turn up half an hour late. They still haven't started. like we're half an hour late, and it's like, it's fine. We've still got 5 minutes to do our intro and everything. It's like, what is wrong with people? Just get on the fucking server.
It's just way too much of a big deal, isn't it? Everyone's like, oh, it's an official.
Exactly,
but
perfect.
it's not
Official, guys.
It's like you just fucking. I think it should. I know this sounds retarded, but I think we should play 2 officials a week for an ECF12 season.
Don't ECA do that?
Yeah, and as a consequence, what happens is people are like, "We got an official tonight. Let's do it." Not, "We got an official tonight. Let's, write a 3-hour script for the whole fucking event before we even begin playing it because we're so, it's such a big deal." Like the more there are, the less a deal it is, and the easier there are to play. It's kind of like it sounds like it would have the opposite effect, but I think it would help.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it takes away from the fact that there's only 4 Prem games a week, sort of thing, doesn't it? It takes away from that for the spectators.
Would you say ESEA matches have any less prestige? Say,
I suppose that's true.
Play mix up. Would you say that has less prestige because they're playing another in the week?
If anything, they get more viewers because people can reliably watch them. Like it's not like, oh my god, a match is being casted tonight. Yay! It's like, okay, is there a match being casted? Yes, as every night. And if there's not, it's like, oh shit, I can't do my usual thing.
It's a shame, yeah.
Like if you get people in the routine of like knowing they're there to watch, you get more viewers eventually.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose if I'm awake at when the XTV's on, I always just turn it on to see if anything's going on.
Yeah.
Like,
So
and
I
they
don't
always
check
stream
it
every
out.
night. So
Yeah, just check it out because more often than not, there's something going at like a certain time.
yes, it's fair enough. I would say the same. I'd like to change the rules of European TF2 a little bit, but that's just my point of view. I don't really want to go into that. Just like I'd love an hour-long game, like rather than a half-an-hour map playing 2 different maps. I'd love to be able to concentrate on a single map and do that. But that's it. Like, just let's not worry about different ideas for ETF12. Let's get on this. Get this season done. Let's actually play. Let's not fold teams, Broder.
Looking at you, Zebo.
Leon's already left for a Div 2 CE team, I think. So,
The lure of Div 2 cash.
yeah, he's just messaged me literally right now. He's tagged up as team effort in Div 2.
oh god,
Leon.
all that cash in Div 2,
Leon.
And then that's pretty much it for us this week. So, Zabi, do you have any shout-outs, anything to say before we go?
Yeah, shout out to Havoc. If anyone has a Dota 2 key, Havoc wants one. So hook him up, help me out. Help me help him out. And shout out to GDK and Unexist for the game we cast today for running crits no matter what the situation. Like, oh shit, we just got smashed on mid. Better run crits to the next mid. Oh, we're holding last. I better spawn with crits just in case. Oh, it's a golden cap. Better run crits to middle. Every time. No fear.
Yeah, definitely go watch that Badlands game from earlier, guys. It was really funny. I enjoyed that game, and might as well go watch Snakewater just for some awesome crits. And it's a pretty good game. Cadus, any shout-outs?
Yeah. Just want to say I've started streaming, I've started streaming / uploading VODs of Yo-Yo Tech games. There's nothing really from this week because I had some internet issues, which is why I say it'll probably end up being like uploading VODs rather than streaming it live, at least in the evening. But there will be like other TF2 stuff being streamed. My Twitch name is Cadus with 2 S's. So yeah, just throwing it out there. That's available to watch if anyone's interested. more from next week. There's not much on there at the moment, but it will become a regular thing.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, will I give a shout out to Tryharders not folding? Good job getting some new players in, keeping up the season. Unfortunately, no shout out to Broder. You folded, guys. I would have given you a shout out if you hadn't. Shout out to the Super Bowl because that's where I'm going right now.
That's
just to
where
go
I'm
watch
going
that.
as well.
So let's end this now because I want to go watch the Super Bowl. So see you guys. Cheers for
It
coming.
doesn't kick off. It doesn't kick off for like 45 minutes.
You better want to get drunk.
Sit back with the beats and let the memories flow. Comedy, tragedy, all the highs and lows. It's funny how the music put times in perspective. Add a soundtrack to your life and perfect it. Whenever you are, feel it will keep walking and we can't get far. Wherever you are, funny how the music put times in perspective. Add a soundtrack to your life and perfect it. Whenever you are, feel it will keep walking and we can't